We're diving into a single 24-hour period where the fundamental rules of global power were just rewritten in real time. We are talking about a massive, sudden shift that seemed to catch the entire world off guard. And it all kicked off on one single, unbelievable day.
I mean, what if you woke up one morning and the world was just operating on a completely new set of instructions? That's pretty much exactly what it felt like on February 22nd, 2026. 4 events that looked totally unrelated just exploded across the globe. It looked like total chaos. But you have to ask, was it just chaos or was it a plan?
First, you've got this high-stakes military standoff in the skies over the West Sea. 10 American F-16s flying a mission that brings them literally nose-to-nose with Chinese fighters in super-contested airspace. And you'll want to stay till the end because some shocking things I am going to reveal are going to connect all of this. But let's get back to the events. This was a huge escalation. Then at the exact same time, over in Washington, D.C., a massive diplomatic earthquake. A brand new global body, backed by billions of dollars, is launched with the very clear goal of replacing the United Nations itself. Yeah, you heard that right. And then, boom, down in South America, a different kind of conflict. This one over technology. The US suddenly punishes one of its oldest allies, Chile, revoking visas for its top officials. And what was their big crime? They were planning to build a fiber optic cable with a Chinese company.
And finally, the last piece of this absolutely insane puzzle, a bombshell report about a secret energy deal. Turns out a close associate of the president's own family is partnering up with a sanctioned Russian gas giant in Alaska. I mean, how could that possibly be happening? This isn't some movie script. This really happened. And if it all seems incredibly confusing and contradictory, well, that might just be the point. Because the real story isn't just what happened, it's why. And the connection between all these events is way more shocking than you'd think.
Okay, so let's unpack what's really going on here. Let's start with that military face-off. This was not an accident. It was a very calculated message, a signal that there are new rules. And to get it, we first have to look at these invisible lines in the sky.
This is what's called an Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. You can think of it as a country's security bubble in the air. Any plane that flies into it has to say, hey, here I am, this is who I am. The problem is, sometimes these bubbles overlap.
And this map shows you exactly where that gets messy, that gray zone, where South Korea's and China's claims clash. Now, usually when US jets fly here, they do it with South Korea, but not this time. This was a US-only mission. 10 F-16s flying right into that contested space, basically daring a response. It's part of a new strategy called strategic flexibility, a clear message that American forces in Korea aren't just there to watch the North anymore, they're there to watch Beijing. Now, at the same time those jets are staring each other down, this number was dropping like a bombshell in Washington. $17 billion. That was the seed money for this new organization, the Board of Peace. And this chart, well, it tells you everything you need to know about where the power really lies. You see, unlike the UN, where everybody chips in a little, the Board of Peace is almost entirely funded by the US and its close Gulf allies. America put in $10 billion alone, giving it majority control from day one.
And here's the philosophy, straight from the president's mouth. It's a board of directors for the world, no free rides. If you want to say, you've got to pay. And countries like India and Germany, well, they're on the outside looking in, worried that the US is basically privatizing world peace and building its own club, leaving the UN as just an empty building.
So let's see how this new pay-to-play world actually affects countries on the ground. Because this isn't just about theory and superpowers. It has real immediate consequences. And what happened in Chile is the perfect and pretty brutal example.
This is the choice Chile and a lot of other countries are now being forced to make. It's a simple but impossible question. Do you partner with China for technology and economic growth, or do you stick with Washington for your security? Because the US is now making it very clear. You can't have both. Just look at what happened. Chile has been a solid US ally for a long time. All they wanted was to build an undersea internet cable to become a digital hub, but they chose a Chinese partner. The American response was swift, and it was personal. They just revoked the visas of top Chilean officials, including their Minister of Transportation, Juan Carlos Muñoz. The message couldn't have been clearer. Build your digital future with China, and you risk your entire relationship with us.
All right, Now for the twist. Just as the administration is playing hardball with China and anyone who works with them, a story breaks that seems to blow that whole strategy apart. It involves a secret deal with America's other great adversary, Russia.
So here are the players. You've got Gentry Beach, a Texas financier and a friend of Donald Trump Jr. He's reportedly signed a deal with a company called Novatek. Now, Novatek is Russia's massive, heavily sanctioned gas company, a company that's supposed to be blacklisted by the entire West because of the war in Ukraine. And the plan is to use Russian tech to develop gas in Alaska. This should be impossible. So what in the world is going on?
Well, this is the art of the deal doctrine in action. That deal isn't a contradiction. It's leverage. It's the carrot. The administration is setting up these back-channel business deals as a bargaining chip. The offer to Moscow is basically this. If you agree to the peace plan for Ukraine we've put on the table, then these very profitable deals, they get a green light. It's pure transaction. You give us peace, we give you money.
Okay, a military standoff with China, a replacement for the UN, punishing an old friend, and a secret back-channel deal with Russia. Now, let's connect all the dots, because these are not separate events. They are all moves in a much, much bigger game, all leading to one high-stakes endgame.
This timeline really shows you how it all fits. Everything that happened on February 22nd, that was just the opening salvo. It was all designed to show strength, to show that old alliances don't matter as much, and to completely reset the board. And it's all pointing to one single date, March 31st, the day the US president is set to meet Xi Jinping in Beijing. What we are all witnessing is a complete and total paradigm shift. The old way of doing things, stable alliances, UN-led talks, that's being torn down and replaced by a flexible, transactional, and much more confrontational US foreign policy. The rules of the 20th century are officially dead.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question as this huge summit gets closer. Are all these aggressive, unpredictable moves part of some master plan to force a grand bargain with China? Or is this just the calm before a much larger, much more dangerous storm?
The entire world is basically holding its breath to see what happens next. So what do you think? Is this a brilliant strategy or a reckless gamble? Let us know in the comments. And to keep up with all these historic changes as they happen, make sure you subscribe for the latest updates. Thanks for watching.